am Stephannie Weidner, and right now I'm the CEO of Active Self-Protection, which is a defensive training company based out of Phoenix, but we're probably best known for our social media arm, which does kind of after-actions reports, lessons learned based on closed circuit video of defensive encounters and the different lessons we can learn from that. We're finding out now that when we're out in public or even in your private spaces that there's cameras everywhere, between your own security cameras, business cameras, badge cams, dash cams. All of these things are capturing all kinds of interactions and a lot of defensive encounters. So it's really a unique time in history that we can actually see violence as it's happening. And as we have watched, at this point we've analyzed about 30,000 different encounters, only about 2,000 on the channel. But we've analyzed 30,000, we've found principles happening over and over and over again. And so we think that these principles are the most important things that you can learn to protect yourself and your loved ones. And so we try to break that down, things that went well in this defensive encounter, things that didn't go well, perhaps to make sure that you can sort of inform your training so that you're focusing your limited time and resources on the most important things to protect yourself and your family. Probably I could break it down into two, even just being mentally and emotionally prepared and to know what to look for. You can avoid an awful lot of defensive encounters that way, and the sort of the mental understanding of how to do it. So even just watching the videos and learning that will really give you a big step up. Another thing is to be sure and have your tools on you. You know, there's an awful lot of times that a problem could have been solved with something like a gun or pepper spray, and the person just didn't have the appropriate tool to the situation or the training to use it. And that's something that we find over and over and over again, that defensive-minded people very often aren't carrying the tools that they need at the times that they need them. It's just not part of their practice. So that has become, if we have the lessons in order, number order, and we do, the first one is carry your gun. The brain doesn't really know the difference between virtual training and experience and actual training and experience. And while that sort of seems counterintuitive, we think, obviously we know the difference. But you don't if you think about being on like a roller coaster simulation, that first person camera, as you go over the hill, your stomach is going and your nerves are coming up. We were able to go on a flight simulator that they actually, the pilot that took us on there, the first time he ever flew his plane in the air was with a plane full of passengers. I mean, he was able to completely qualify and learn to fly in a box on the ground. And that wasn't even that great of graphics. It was just enough that it was just the brain doesn't know the difference. So if you can learn the lesson that person had to pay potentially a very high price for, and you can learn it from the comfort of your living room without that stress-induced, just the stress will make learning more difficult, let alone making good decisions. If you can learn and make those decisions from the comfort of your living room, it's a huge leg up over everybody else. This is the first year I've been able to attend, and we've supported the Mingle. I don't know if we were able to support the first one, but Active Self-Protection as a company has been able to support it, partially because I just think as a woman in the industry, it's getting better, but there's still less of us. It's still not unusual to show up at a class and be the only woman, or show up at an event and be the only woman. And networking and feeling like you belong and seeing other people like you is so important. And so to be able to go to events like this or even something like Facebook, where I can meet women and interact with them and learn from them. And men and women are very similar in an awful lot of ways defensively, but there are some differences in different parts of our lives. It's nice to have a group of women to sort of war game with and figure out what works best for your life in carrying a gun, or what kind of brand of this do you use, or how do you practice that, go to classes together. And I think that support is so important that I think it's really worthy of supporting, and I was so grateful to have a chance to be here this year and be part of it. Particularly, I think women really need these networks, and I think this is a great event. It's well organized, it's well supported, it's well run. From an organizational standpoint, I do some events too, and so to see, I know a good event when I see it, and this is absolutely one. Shelley pours her heart and soul into this event, and you can see it at every turn. I know what Shelley puts into this, partially because she's one of my dearest friends. I know the hours she pours into it, and it's just her love and passion for the self-defense community at large. But I think an awful lot of times women in the self-defense industry, we don't always fit neatly into any group. We don't always fit into groups and friendships with women outside the industry, because that's not often, really where our personality or mindset or anything is, and we don't always fit well with the men in the industry. we're just a little bit different there too. So to be able to find a lot of like-minded women and build those strong female relationships, I think that's something she's really passionate about too, and feels like in the self-defense world, she's finally found some of her own, has found her own tribe, for lack of a better word, and I think that has really valued and enriched her life. So I think she pours her heart into helping other women do that and find their place and feel comfortable. And I think women provide such a valuable piece that isn't always present. So to have, we're half the population, so to have their input on some of this, I think really enriches everything about it. The women that she invites are very heartfelt, very encouraging. It's a really good community to be part of. And if a woman didn't have that or was trying to look to plug into that, I think this is a really great place to start. You meet women there were several from local, which I think is Georgia, mostly when they raised their hands for that, but there were several that were from all across the country. We have one here from Hawaii, I'm from South Dakota, and the rest are peppered across other states. And then you can connect and network through social media and stuff after that and really keep up these close friendships. I know several of these women I see once or twice a year at different things around the country, and we're able to connect and build friendships and support groups through social media. So it's a really unique and pretty incredible time to be a female in the industry. If you can get plugged into that community, it's really helpful.